What's up YouTube, Bangalore Productions, coming at you with another video today. So just started off with yesterday. So rewind. Last Saturday when I was out training, when I got that video out to you guys, my buddy, one of the ones in the video, he's really into like shooting competitions and like precision marksmanship. He invited me out to a quantified performance match that we attended yesterday. I will say, did not do too good. That's not any fault of my own. I would just say that being in the Marine Corps Infantry, being in the basic line platoon, especially the last 2 years, been in a leadership billet, you're not really shooting as much. And not only that, but the furthest you're really realistically going to shoot out to in a line platoon is 500 and in. That's what we train to. That's the standard. So this competition, we were shooting out the distances of 708 meters. Now, my rifle did reach a target of 708 meters, but my optic is so bad that I basically had to walk myself on, utilizing the berm behind the target. And every time I saw the dirt splash, I would just bracket to the left until I hit the target. I did that for most targets that were outside of, I would say, probably 300 meters with this optic. Like I said, I didn't spend too much on my rifle build. I was more worried about training than my build, but that really put a perspective for me that I shouldn't try to have maxed out my gear and neglected the performance of my rifle. Because anything that was within 300 meters, I was dinging it easy. I mean, this optic, sight mark, LVPO, easy. If this is what you have, or if you have something less expensive than this or something slightly better, anything within 300, you're gonna ding it. It's gonna be easy and you're gonna have a good time. Anything outside of that though, I'd recommend looking into a more expensive optic. But with this laid out on the table, this kind of sets the show for today's video. Not only the competition yesterday, but the last week or so, I've been thinking a lot on what it is we as a community are training for and what we're training to do. And it pains me to say this because I am a fan of the greater LARPing community and how much fun it can be and how much fun I have with the boys. And I'm never going to stop training. I'm never going to stop doing things to make myself better. But I think I'm going to go about it a different way than I have been. So a lot of the things that I've talked about, showed you guys, have revolved heavily around long range, sustainment, belt rigs, that kind of stuff I've negated. I've talked negatively about different kinds of setups and expressed that I feel like, in my opinion, the belt kit is superior, but I might just be wrong. It has its applications and it definitely is a good piece of kit. And I believe if you're gonna do anything over a week long in the field, or even anything over 24 hours in the field, I believe you should have a belt rig. If you're gonna be in wooded, mountainous terrain. If you operate in the desert, arid environment, that's probably not for you anyway. If you're gonna be in a cold, snowy environment, I would lean more towards it, but I still wouldn't pick a belt rig over a chest rig in Arctic conditions. I've trained in Arctic conditions, so I would know that firsthand. Anything urban, vehicle mounted, no belt rig. Obviously, maybe not even a chest rig, depending on what I'm doing, because I can carry everything inside of my vehicle. But that brings us to today's topic. Sorry, the long intro, I know. And also, I want to thank you guys. Also, every single one of you, even if all you did was watch the video, that means a lot to me. I went into this in January not expecting much of anything out of making videos. All I had wanted to do was just to make content for like-minded people like myself, or maybe guys that aren't as into it, but they're into shooting. I wanted to show people that they need to exercise their rights and go out and train. So without further ado, this is the video. So I've been working on a write-up called The Way of the Modern Guerrilla. So I believe we shouldn't be training CQB enthusiasms, the belt rig supremacy, the long range reconnaissance patrol recce boys. Like, no, we don't need any of that. That's bullshit. in my opinion. Sorry for the language, but it is. It's bullshit. A lot of guys are very dogmatic on their approach to training, to what they believe is a scenario that could ever happen or what they believe they need to be prepared for. They're very dogmatic in it, and their kit setups, their weapon setups, very snobby, and it's starting to leak into the community, and it causes disagreements, arguments, and it causes people to get upset. And I mean, you know, who cares? You're upset, whatever, blah. But that's not what I mean. I mean more so that we shouldn't be worried so much about our kit setups and so much worried about, oh, well, CQB, I need to train CQB, you know, I need to train long range sustainment because I need to be able to have a belt rig that can carry everything I need for 48 plus hours. Dude, trust me, I've done that and it's not fun. If you've never actually went out with a full belt rig and done anything, even less than 12 hours, you're gonna start to rethink your decisions and say, wow, maybe I should not have a huge sustainment rig on. Maybe I should look into a lighter chest rig and a heavier pack. Because after a while, it's leaving that belt rig on, and also this is the con I would say about belt rigs, is the fact that everything you're carrying, the important shit, I mean obviously your ammo, your admin, whatever it may be, is up front, easy to access. But your water, all of your sustainment items that you're so worried about carrying are right here. And I mean, yes, I have good shoulder mobility, I can definitely reach back there, but am I actually gonna be able to find what I'm looking for back there? Probably not. So the thing with the belt rigs is if you have to do something important, you have to stop and take it off. Obviously the same thing with a pack, but with a pack, you still have your combat load on if you're wearing a chest rig. And that brings me to this point. I feel like for most cases, most people, a rig like this, sorry, I'm really far away from the camera, but a rig like this is probably gonna do people a lot better than my previous videos, those heavy belt rigs. They have their place, and I will continue to use my belt rig when I train, and I will also continue to use my chest rig when I train, and my assault pack, main pack, whatever it is I may use, I'm gonna continue to use it because I like it and it works for me. But I feel like we shouldn't be pushing certain setups, certain equipment, blah, 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 when at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And now, all of this leading into, in my opinion, probably the cornerstone of a guerrilla fighter and what we should be carrying, easily accessible, the bare. These are the true bare minimums aside from your ammo for your rifle. All right, so obviously fighting rifle, and this is not a precision rifle. I found that out yesterday. There is a difference between spending $13,000 on a precision setup and, for lack of better words, a poop master. There's a huge difference, guys. So if you're worried about precision, being a marksman, don't spend as much money on the kit, spend more money on a rifle. If you're worried about having a fighting rifle, having some better gear, get a poop master. And I'll actually also, I'm probably gonna take this optic off and go back to iron sights or like a 5x just non-adjustable optic, because 95% of us don't need this. Anyway, I digress. So this is what I call the guerrilla jacket. All right, concept, I've been thinking about it. And I just made this up, and I think this works. This is something that you could probably not wear out and about in public as much, unless it was a different color, like if it was blue or black, possibly, but we're also trying to blend in to wooden environments if we have to. So this can be just thrown in your car instead of a chest rig, instead of whatever. This rig, this jacket can be thrown into your car. Basically, it's a smock, but it's not, because I'm poor and can't afford a $300 commando smock from Arctis. I would like to, and when I get the money, that's the first thing I'm gonna buy after setting this thing up, especially because it has the pouch on the back too, so you can carry more stuff. Anyway, so what do we have? We have a Helicontex, just OD green blouse. You've seen it in previous videos. What are we doing with this blouse? I'll show you. So first thing, we got all these big pockets that most of the time people don't utilize pockets on their blouses. So why would you even have them? I don't know if you don't utilize them. So I'll show you first that with these pockets stuffed to the brims, it does work with a lighter chest rig setup like this one. This is the Spiritus Mark V. I've had this for well over a year now. I've used this a lot at work. Love this chest rig. It's very comfortable. And I did get the Lunar Concepts harness. I think I mentioned in a previous video, this HS harness. I like it, it's super comfortable. I wore this chest rig to the comp yesterday, minus the flashbang and extra stuff, and I loved it. Very comfortable, very good. And see, as you can see, everything, these pockets fat, loaded up. Even the chest pocket's got stuff in it. Chest rig is comfortable, but I can get a deep breath. And we're ready to go. This with a main pack and a salt pack, we're ready to go out for 2 days, do an operation. But that brings me, well, before I go crazy and start ranting, I'll show you what's in the jacket. So in the bottom right cargo pocket, we have tourniquet, plus chest seals, stuffing gauze, MPA, and then my trusty needle D right there. All of that fits in here, and I will say with room to spare. Definitely can fit more medical. Really anything that I want to put in this pocket, I can still fit. Now the downside of a smock setup like this, the guerrilla jacket, whatever you want to call it, would be, you're not going to be able to wear a belt rig. I just tried it before I made this video because that's what I was going to show you, the rig to go with it. And that's what I thought would work. It doesn't, unless you had your belt rig up here, which is not where they go. And I mean, an H harness, yes, like the Spirit is 34 Alpha, Eagle H harness, whatever, that would work perfect, but not a belt rig. Anyway, this pocket over here, headlamp. Seeing is very important when it's dark outside. Space blanket, it's light, and I might actually move this to one of these pockets up here. And then water filtration kit, iodine tabs, Sawyer, mini, and the squeeze bag. What I am gonna get into soon, what I'm saving up for, is the H2O Go. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Basically, it's a little electric system that can basically infinitely purify water. So yeah, that's what I'm looking into. And they're about $113, and they infinitely purify water using electrolysis and crazy stuff. But anyway, as long as you have salt, you can purify any water ever. So, and it can purify up to 20 liters of water, which I have a 20-liter jug back here. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that's pretty darn cool, I would say. So next pocket, left breast pocket. Cami paint, pretty much because of the mirror. Also, cami paint, because you can't paint yourself. Notepad with some high-vis tape on it, just so I can see it. I don't know. I did it yesterday at the comp, and I thought it was a good idea. And this is my note-taking gear right there. And then, like I said, the space blanket, I'm just gonna throw that in here with this. Right side. Now, is this what I'm probably gonna keep in this? No, I was kind of just stuffing the pockets to show you guys what all can fit. Got a chem bundle with the IR chem, and then a pair of gloves. Fits in the right breast pocket comfortably. Had the chest rig on, and it was just fine. What you probably could do is take that out, and you know, if you're overt, whatever, you're not worried about seeing people or people seeing you, throw 2 magazines in your right breast pocket. They fit good. I wouldn't run around like this, but if I'm static or I'm in a vehicle, definitely this is how I would run this. I keep my rifle mags right here. So shooting. Throw this on the floorboard, obviously I'm in my vehicle. Get back to it. So that is a way you can run that easily to carry magazines on your jacket. And bear with me, 2 more pockets, get into it. Left shoulder pocket, just to show you guys that it'll fit. This signal panel, BH17. I actually probably will leave that in there just because I don't have to keep it in my rig. Because also, depending on what setup I'm running, this is gonna be my first line, right? Everything on here is what I need at the bare minimum, aside from magazines to get going, right? Right shoulder pocket, what do we have? Multi-tool. Lighter and flint and steel. Do I need the flint and steel in there? Probably not, but like I said, I just wanted to show you guys what all this, I think they're like $50 on Helicon Texas website. With their little blouse can fit. Basically, I call it the guerrilla jacket, but it's pretty much just a mini smock. So that's the pockets, that's what you can fit in it. I have my handgun right here, and it would slow my draw, but I don't need a split second draw. Anyway, so yeah, that's the guerrilla jacket. I mean, yeah, obviously I'm carrying a bunch of stuff in it, so I would just wear this out in town with nothing going on, because then people would be like, why do you have this on? Blah, 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 blah. So this is something that if shit hits the fan, I'm probably gonna grab this before I grab anything else and rock with this. And that brings me into the way of the guerrilla, modern guerrilla, by myself. I'll get into this, I'll make this a series, and each part that I talk about, I'm gonna break it down in following videos. So what is the way of the modern guerrilla? Well, about what we talked about earlier with all the kit stuff and all that. In the past decades, our biggest enemies, like all the wars we've been in the past decades, have been people that you could call guerrillas, insurgents, whatever it may be. But if you look at it, they fucked us up at mostly everything. Why? Because once they were done shooting, they could throw their rifle away, take off whatever they were wearing, or they'd already have civilian clothes on, and they're a civilian now. You don't know who they are. And that's what I believe every prepared citizen should be aiming towards. Not so much full multicam drip, full Polish Pantera 93 drip, whatever it may be. Full belt rig, full chest rig, CQB loadout, nods, all this. What I think is more important is capabilities of surveillance and blending in with the crowds. And then we can get into concealment, ambushes, stuff like that. So before an invader comes, right? Anything, whatever it may be. For the first 6 months, you don't want to fire a single shot unless you absolutely have to. There's not going to be any assaults, there's not going to be any defenses, nothing. The first thing for the first 6 months at a bare minimum is surveillance. So what does that mean? That means instead of saving up for those quad nods, instead buy a thermal drone. Buy a drone that has thermal imaging. So for the first 6 months of any occupation, you can survey what they're doing. What are their patrol routes? What are their vehicle patrol routes? Where are their bases? What is their logistics looking like? What's their supply lines looking like? How many guys are in this area? How many guys are in this area? When they're on post, what is their post rotation looking like? These are the things you need to start thinking about before you even consider going on an assault, going on the offensive, right? Once those 6 months are up, what you want to start worrying about then is while you're continuing the surveillance, you want to start worrying about harassing attacks. You want to start worrying about ambushes, disrupting their supply lines, disrupting their logistics. Now, once all this is disrupted, then you can start your assaults. Then you can mass your fires on these enemy positions and take over and take back what is ours. Instead of worrying about long-range reconnaissance patrols, we need to be worrying about drone recovery patrols. We need to be worrying about ambushes and not clearing buildings in CQB. We need to be worried more on things that are going to keep us and our brothers, our sisters, our families alive than worrying about being a cool badass, wearing full CQB kit, and going in and taking videos of clearing rooms. So yeah, that's all I have to say for right now. That's what I want to leave you guys with. I just gave you a lot of information, a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to hopefully you start implementing it in your own training. Hopefully you guys are getting out there and training. I see a lot of negative comments, not just on my channel, but on many channels like mine. And the thing I have to say to these people that are saying these things, they either just the content wasn't meant for them, or they just don't train, so they don't understand these things that are happening and what we're doing and why we're doing things a certain way, because they themselves don't get out and train. And also on top of that, they're not making content to share for viewers like you who are viewing this video and who want to learn and want to get better. I'm sorry I couldn't make a video out in the woods today. That was the original plan. But like I said, I went to that competition yesterday. I had a lot of fun. Did not get any clips from it. We were busy just the whole time running different stages. But next week, I have a big video planned for you guys. along the lines of this topic and what we discussed today. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, ask away. Always open to talking to you guys, and I really appreciate all the viewership and just how much we've grown the channel in this really short amount of time. Anyway, thanks guys.